So hey everybody, how you doing? It's
Hi.
Felissa and me. And
Susan,
our beautiful.
okay, so just so I can start by saying I met Felissa 3 years ago.
Yes.
She's lovely. Mark I met yesterday. He's lovely. They are not like their characters in the movie you just saw at all, except they both have the most amazing screams ever.
We do kind of like scream alike,
I
don't we?
know,
It's
you
amazing.
really do.
Yeah, it's like I was saying to her, you've got a really good scream. That's like.
I thought his scream was my scream when I.
Well, you know, I got rich. I got rich screaming like a girl. So.
That's true, right?
Oh yeah, I used to say that. It's like people would say to me, like, "Oh, you know, you scream like a girl," and I had this T-shirt that said, "What's so bad about screaming like a girl? It made me rich and famous." So, you know, it's like I just keep signing.
Screaming is actually, it sounds silly, it's actually hard.
Oh, it's very hard.
It's an actually hard thing to do.
I take my glove, especially to. It's funny because most of my fans are like really big tough guys are like big fans of mine, and they're totally shut down, and everybody's like, "Wow, he's so calm and cool, collected." But I get to put my arm on their back, and their back muscles are twitching because they're like total fanboys. They've been watching this and I'm always like, if I stuck this, and this is really sharp, if I stuck this in your eye, you would squeal like a pig. Like you don't sound really butch when you're like getting that.
I don't like how close
you
that
know,
is.
It's very sharp. So you guys can
Look
come
at
up and play
that.
with it if you want. It's
No,
like,
no,
it is
don't
very sharp.
play with it.
Iconic right there.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, are you both fans of horror, in general, horror movies?
I am. I'm a huge fan of the genre. I just love it. I'm mesmerized by it. It's a beautiful art form.
Yeah, I would say I am. I probably, to be honest with you, I really just like film. I mean, anything that's really well done, I really like. So, probably my favorite movie of all time is Carrie. But I mean, I grew up on that. You know what I mean? So it was like I have really good memories of that, and I actually do like 80s horror a lot. I mean, I've really come to appreciate it doing these conventions in a completely different way than I did before. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, okay, so Felissa, when people do come to see you, when they come to see you, and they come to see you, what do they like to talk to you most about? I know, but...
Their stories about Sleepaway Camp are just brilliant. They're so amazing to me. And it's funny because most of the stories start with, so I was on a date, like, okay, and we went to see Sleepaway Camp, and I was, you know, the end of the story is always, and the ending shocked me, you know, so it's kind of twofold. You find out the killer and you find out a secret. So it's always just amazing to me listening to people's beautiful stories about how they saw Sleepaway Camp and what they think about it, and you know, I always say it gave me a life, so I'm very grateful.
And you were quite young when you did it, so you weren't even, if I remember right, able to see it because you were too young.
I was 13, but I did see it.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't supposed to
That's
see it,
what
but
it
I
was.
saw it, and it was the first, spoiler alert, penis I had ever seen. It was my own.
You embarrassed Mitch Markowitz. He just left the room. So, okay, well, that was a spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but now if you haven't seen the movie, you have to see the movie.
Yeah, you definitely have to see it.
And what about you? What do people like to talk to you about?
Well, actually, you know, Felissa and I are pretty much in the same camp. I mean, we get basically the same fans. So, and we have a lot in common. Like the movie that I made before, my first film that I made before Nightmare on Elm Street was Come Back to the Five and Dime Jimmy Dean, right? So I play a transgendered person. So she gets a dick and I lose a dick. So it's
We share a dick.
You know, so we share that in common. So like the people that come to our tables, you know. But my thing is mostly like most of the people who are really hardcore fans of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 saw Nightmare on Elm Street 2 first. They saw it before they saw the original one. They're generally they saw it when they were really young, and they didn't identify so much with the gay part of it as opposed to how vulnerable Jesse was.
Right.
And one of the things that I've like come to know about the conventions, because when I started doing the conventions late, is like most of the people that come to horror conventions have something in common, by and large, and that is they were dorks and nerds and probably didn't like high school so much, and are really sweet, wonderful people. you know? And that's the thing that I've discovered doing this. And that's what I clue into with people. It's like, you know, we're the weirdos, you know? And it's like, and now that I'm older, I'm so glad that I was. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, we all continue to evolve, you know? And it's like, it's not over. Like, my best days were not when I was 16. My best days are in front of me, I think. So, yeah, that's what I've
I
learned.
love that. And that's true. And in Comic-Cons and this kind of genre, you do find that non-bullying, and I say this all the time in our show,
That's
but
right.
it's that non-bullying, that all-inclusive. It doesn't matter if you're a man dressing as a woman, it doesn't matter. It's a nice feeling, and it's a nice
It is.
close-knit family
There's a
feeling, which I like.
connection amongst
Yes.
everyone, you know?
Well, I was telling my friends earlier, it's like I travel all over the world. I mean, I'm very fortunate. The places I go to and get paid to go to are amazing. But if you were filming this convention and you turned down the sound, you could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
The people dress exactly the same in Germany. They get the same jokes. They're like wearing the same costumes. I mean, it's like it is a worldwide family, and it doesn't matter where you go. It's always the same. And whether the people can speak the language or not speak the language, it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm just as popular in a part of East Germany where they literally don't speak English, and I go and I do a Q&A, and they translate it into East German or Czechoslovakian or. I mean, it's really weird. I mean, it's like when you get stuff from Russia and they're like, I love Jessie, you know, and like the Eastern Europeans are it's all girls. And the Japanese are the same. Japanese girls love me. And they identified with Jessie. It's like they like very vulnerable boys. And it's like,
Interesting.
it's weird. So it's cool. It's very neat.
I love that. Oh, I look like you were going to say something.
No, it's just so cool. It's amazing. I love this man, so I just have to say
We
that.
love each
And
other.
listening to him, and he inspires me. So, sorry.
We have a good time. We get to travel a lot together. So we're like, you know, we become pals.
Are you doing more cons in the future? Where can we see you?
Well, we're going to go to...
We go to
Filming
Mad Monster Party May 19th to the 21st, and then we go to Scarecon June 2nd through the 4th in Springfield, Massachusetts.
And
Those are
then
our
Dallas for me, and then New York. I'm going to the New York Film Festival, where I am. My first movie opened the New York Film Festival, and I am now going back to be honored as an icon by the New York Film Festival at Lincoln Center on June 7th.
awesome.
And I'm a New York boy, so for me it's like unbelievable.
But you're not born in New York.
No, I was born in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like a farm boy, like. I'm from London, USA. You know, it's like the rolling fields and all that kind of. I was raised in a place much like this, but no, I moved to New York when I was 17. Yeah, just turned 17 with $100 and a one-way plane ticket to make my fame and fortune.
That's that story. That's that story that everybody is like, oh, I'm going to do that, take that money, and you did it.
Oh, you know, I have an interesting thing. Like I like to tell people this because I have some friends here from Toronto and from New York, and you know, they're like, and Felissa likes to say this all the time. It's like, and I'm going to pull this and make a whole circle out of this. I have a friend who I used to take acting class with, and her husband was the acting teacher, and she was old. And I always got stuck working with this old lady. And I would be like, why do I have to work with the old lady? I don't want to work with the old lady. I want to like work with the young people. And I'm really hot and everything. And I'm like 20 something and I'm an idiot, right? And June would say to me all the time, you know, I'm a serious actress. She worked on Broadway as a dancer. And she goes, I want to be a serious actor. And she goes, you know, Mark, there's no rules in acting. There's no rules in life. People tell you there are, but there really aren't any. And she goes, I'm going to be a serious actress. And June was nominated for an Academy Award for Nebraska when she was in her 80s. And she didn't start working until she was in her late 60s, right? And she was in About Schmidt, and like now she's in, her name is June Squibb. And I remember when I saw she got nominated for Academy Award, I called my friends and I said, what is she going to wear to the Academy Awards? How can she afford a dress? Because June and Charles were always poor, right? And my friend Guy laughed at me and he goes, Mark, June's rich. You know, she's been making bank since she was 65. She's over the moon wealthy, right? So, and the same thing happened with Jackie Earle Haley. Jackie Earle Haley hadn't made a movie in 20 years. And he got the first movie back, he made an Academy Award, right? He won an Academy Award for it. So I moved to New York on February 18th, 1977 with $100. and a one-way plane ticket. I didn't know you needed an agent. And I said to myself as I was, getting off the plane, I'll give myself 5 years. And if I make it in 5 years, then this was meant to be. And if not, then I'll go home and I'll work for UPS like my dad wants me to, right? So I opened on Broadway on February 18th, 1982 at 6:30. I had arrived in New York at 7. So I made it 5 years to the day. And by 30 minutes, I made my first huge success in New York at that time. So I'm always like, don't give up. You know what I mean? Like, I came back into show business I lived in Mexico on a dirt road, and I thought, I'd become an architect. I was like, and then I got a call from Never Sleep Again, and they were like, do you know you're famous? And I was like, no, not really. And I've been on the road for 7 years and started making little movies again, like this. And these, for us, are really, they're practice movies. And we have an agreement with a lot of different directors. We work for a lot of people. But we're being invited into mainstream show business again. And you really have to learn to do it again. Because, we have different vehicles. I was a 25-year-old movie star, and I looked 17.